Have you ever wanted to take a pork butt for a spin? Nah, that'd be totally irresponsible, a very inadvisable thing to do. But if I were to do it, I'd probably grab one of those half-price pork butts they have up at Kroger. What a deal. Put on a base layer of mustard and a vinegar-type seasoning. Mustard and vinegar is a killer pork combo. I'd let that rest in the fridge and then get up at like, I don't know, 4 a.m. to start the cook. As many of you at home are aware, there's a huge bone running right through that pork butt, but that would only deter a lesser man. The bone itself is the shoulder blade. It's rather flat, so I'm just gonna go above it the long way along the butt, staying as close to the center line as possible. Centrifugal force, geosynchronous moon phases, there's a lot of science going on here, but y'all aren't here for that. You're here to watch my butt spin. Today I'm cooking on the TMG Forge. This is a newer grill from them, a live fire pit, a fire table with the ability to hang, grill, rotisserie. It's got it all, just an all-around powerhouse. We'll find out today just how well it does with barbecue. This one is gonna be long and painful. Speaking of, today's actually my wedding anniversary. Who would have known, all those years ago, flipping through that mail order catalog, that we'd end up here. Kind of nice that the Forge here has this built-in coffee warmer up top. They thought of everything over there at TMG. I am gonna be impressed if we use less than an entire bag of charcoal for this cook. This is the least efficient way to cook a pork butt. Every 20 or 30 minutes, I'm just dropping a few chunks of charcoal in there, trying to keep this charcoal bed as even as possible, along with the occasional chunk of hickory just for some extra smoky flavor. But so far, doing as well as one can do when doing something so inadvisable and inefficient. My kids actually just left for school like, I don't know, 30 minutes, hour ago, whatever. They step out the front door, I'm on like the side of the house, and they're like, it smells like bacon out here today, it's so nice. So even if this is a complete failure, at least we have something positive out of it. It does look very nice though. We are 4 hours in, and this pork butt is sitting at 152.3 degrees internal. So we're moving right along. She looks gorgeous, and the cool thing about the rotisserie is it just kind of takes care of itself. It bastes itself in its own fat as it's spinning around. Normally with a cook like this, I'd expect to need like a bottle of vinegar and apple juice to kind of spritz on there to keep everything nice and moist, but certainly not the case today. Just a fat piece of meat spinning around. Reminds me of a younger, fatter version of myself. I've ran the science, the numbers, the mathematics behind this. We've got a couple options when finishing this thing. Either I keep letting it spin on the rotisserie, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards because I think that'd be the most interesting thing to do. Or I could wrap it in foil and bury it in coals if I feel like it's not getting to the temperature I want it to get to that. Like with pork, I like to go to like 207 internal, a little bit further than you would normally go because I want this to be like super tender. That'll be a game time decision and we will burn that bridge when we come to it. We are just about done here. The pork is at 198 internal, so right there close to my final temperature. And surprisingly, we only used about 3/4 of a bag of charcoal. That's what I had left there. I haven't opened another bag yet. I'm gonna toss in some really small wood splits just to get the heat up for that last little bit to push it over where I want it to go. But we are right there, and I'm very surprised with how this went. Super smooth cook, just had to come out here and check on it every 30 minutes or so, but looks fantastic, smells fantastic. This might be a little early, I don't want to jinx it, but this might not be a total up. Well, hello there. If you're enjoying today's feature presentation, let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all know what's going on. And if you want to see more ridiculous rotisserie cooks, let me know about that one too. I mean, could we even fit a brisket on this rotisserie? Once off the grill, we want to let this meat rest. Barbecue, just like any other meat, needs a nice long rest. So I'm gonna work on my pull-out game and take this skewer out, and we're gonna cover it up. I like to use my oven turned off as a warming box. Just let that rest in there for a couple hours. If you're cooking a steak over 10-15 minutes, you rest it for 5 or 10 minutes. So a rest for big barbecue cuts like this, a couple hours are fantastic. I leave my meat probe still in there so I can measure it, see what's going on inside there. The danger zone for bacteria is 40 to 140 degrees, so as long as it stays over 140 degrees, still safe. I usually pull around like 160 or so. That's a super long explanation. Let's see if it even makes it into the cut. This pork went way better than I ever thought this would. It didn't fall off the skewer as it was spinning around. That's always a win. I've done a lot of barbecue and I've experienced a lot of heartache around barbecue. So So far, it's a win. The bark on the outside, super incredible. The fat rendered, I've never had fat render quite like that on a barbecue cook. It kept rendering and basting itself the entire time. That was super impressive to watch. Pulling this, the bone slid right out. I cooked it to my normal temperature that I normally always cook, which is like 205 to 207. I pulled it right there at like 205 because I was a little bit afraid of it falling off. I will show you the chart. Now keep in mind, like this is a live fire open pit. It was a ridiculous cook. I don't recommend trying it. Pit temperatures were all over the place, and you gotta remember. So funny story, out of the hundreds of cooks that I've done using the meter, the one time I mention it in a video, it doesn't show up. But don't worry, I'm something of a master artist, so I created this perfect rendition from memory. Enjoy. The probe was sitting in the side and spinning around the whole time. So it was like cool side, warm side, cool side, warm side, you know, so you do the best you can with what you're given. This smells incredible. It looks incredible. Let's give it a try. Honestly, y'all, that's really stinking good. If anybody served that to me at a cookout, I would be beyond impressed. The flavor profile comes through. It's super tender. It's juicy. It's flavorful. I was afraid it wasn't gonna be juicy just from not wrapping, not putting juices in there, all that jazz, but very juicy. I like to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar as I pull it and everything. It kind of gives that peppiness. There's so much fat in there, that little vinegar fat combo. Oh my God, so good. Tenderness is great. Bark was really good. Bark is super well developed. The flavor of the rub, mustard, vinegar, really good there too. The only thing I would say this is lacking in is there's just not a lot of smoke flavor. It tastes a lot like roast pork opposed to like a barbecue pork because it wasn't in a smoker. It wasn't in that chamber just absorbing that smoke. It was open air cooking, you know, which is, you know, it's not bad. It's just different. And this is super, it's very similar. Like I'm originally from Florida, so it's very similar to like the Cuban pulled pork you'll have down there, which is actually more of a roast pulled pork cooked in like an oven or something. So this is like halfway between smoked pulled pork and like a roast pulled pork, I would say. It has some flavor to it, some charcoal, but not that deep smoky flavor that you normally have with barbecue. But I am going to eat a ton of this because I have been up for a very long time cooking it. So there we go. Very impressed with myself. And that is no small feat. There is no one harder on this guy than this guy. I thought I was out, but then they brought me back in. Very meticulous around here about how we do our cleaning.